Hi, everybody. So, today I wanted to talk a bit about simplifying expressions, which is a very broad term, but a very important thing in algebra and concept as you go on in math in general. So, that being said, let's get right into it. So, simplifying expressions, you might be like, what does that even mean? For example, let's just start off with some random example. 2x squared minus 4x plus 8 plus 3x squared plus 12x. Okay, so you're given some really long expression, right? This is what we call an expression, right? A bunch of terms, and they don't have an equal sign necessarily. So, like, not all of this equals 5, right? We're not solving for x. We're just simplifying the expression to the smallest it can be. Like, let's try and compress it into something smaller. So there's rules when it comes to simplifying expressions, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first rule is if we combine two of these terms, they must have the same degree. So degree. You might say, what the heck does that mean? Degree. It's an important term to know, not only in algebra, but algebra 2 for sure. Degree, and a lot of students don't know what this means. So let's type out. Degree is the power that the term is raised to. For example, so I'll write example 2x squared, that's my symbol for squared, the caret, has a degree of 2. So even let's just say x squared to make that clear of why I said 2. So x squared has a degree of 2. X to the first, right? There's an invisible 1 there, has a degree of 1. X to the third has a degree of 3, and so on, right? So this is the rule for degree. So we can only combine terms with the same degree. So this term has a degree of 2. Now let's scan. No, this is a degree of 1. This is a degree of 0, right? We don't even have an x. Okay, here we have another degree of 2. And then here we have another degree of 1. Okay, so we know that we can combine the 2x squared and the 3x squared. That's great. So we get 5x squared. So when we add these terms, right, the x squared tags along for the ride. That's just an attachment to the number in the front. Think of it as like the 2 is leading the way here, and the x squared is just like hanging on. Like he's in the back seat. He's on the way, but he's not going to change. Like when we add the 2x squared and the 3x squared, we're only adding the 2 and 3 in the front, and then the x squareds just hang out alongside them. That's my analogy. I hope it's somewhat helpful. So once we've done the x squareds, we can move on to the next term. So here we have a, be careful now, a minus 4x to the first power. And we said 8 has a 0 power, but 12x to the first power, okay, we can combine. So minus 4x to the first power plus 12 to the first x to the first power gives a overall of plus 8x. And I think it's helpful sometimes to write to the first power if it helps you organize these numbers. And then finally, we'll scan along to the last term, right? And there's nothing to combine it with because it's kind of the lone 0 degree. So we just have a plus 8. Okay, so we did it. So the simplified expression is 5x squared plus 8x to the first plus 8. So this is a really basic example of how to simplify an expression. Quickly, we can go through one or two more examples just to like nail it home, maybe add a second step into it. Okay, example 2. Example 2. We're going to add some higher degrees, maybe 4x to the fifth. Oop, that doesn't look like a 5. To the 5th minus x to the 3rd plus 3x squared plus 7 plus 7x. Oop, that's not right. 7x to the 3rd minus 12x to the 5th. Okay. All right, so we got some more terms. So same thing. I really like doing this on the computer because we can color code it. You can do this with colored pencils, with highlighters, right? So I find my 5th degree, scan all the way across. So I scan all the way across until I see, here we go, another 5th degree. And we can highlight, whichever way is best for you, just to mark like which ones match degree. Okay, next we'll do the 3rd power. Scan all the way across, 3rd power. Okay, next we'll do squared. And the squared is a lone pair. And then the 7 is as well. Okay, so now let's combine. So our green terms, 4x to the 5th minus 12x to the 5th leaves us with a minus 8x to the 5th. Okay, now purple, minus x to the 3rd plus 7x to the 3rd leaves us with a 6x to the 3rd. Ooh, what did I do there? 6x to the 3rd. Okay. And then we have a plus 3x squared because there's nothing to combine it with. And same with our plus 7. Nothing to combine it with there, right? And we're done. So these aren't too bad, right? It's just, whoop, I got some things happening here. It's just making sure we group the terms correctly. So that's why it's really important to know what degree is. Finally, we'll do one more example that's going to be a little tiny bit more involved, and it's going to use another concept that you might be familiar with called foiling. If you're not familiar with what foiling is, please watch the video I will upload next on how to foil. So you can refer to that and then come back and pick up here, and you'll be able to do this example without a problem. So these are really common questions. You might even see something like this on the SAT, something like that. So 3x squared plus 3, and then like 4x minus 7. Sure. Okay, so if you're familiar with foiling, I'm assuming you are if you are still watching at this point, right? We do the first terms. So 12x to the 3rd, and then we do the the outer terms, 21x squared, inner terms, 12x, last terms, minus 21. And can we simplify this expression further? Now, this is actually a trick question. We can't, right? I hope you figured that out on your own by looking at the degrees and seeing we have a degree that is to the 3rd, to the 2nd, to the 1st, and 0. So this is actually as simplified as we can make this expression. So overall, these are our notes we have here on simplifying expressions, finding the degree and combining any terms with that same degree. And that's what you're left with. It's really simple. Just always pay attention to your signs, right? Never forget if we have that minus sign in front. Then that's all I have on simplifying expressions. So if you want more details on foiling, remember, please watch my next video, and we'll cover the concept of foiling. Thanks, guys.